Yeah, let's go, dude. Pegasus. Well, what a way to start a video. So, I've been training this Pegasus since I got it. Quite a bit non-stop. We're level 32. I'm going to go back to the horse trainer. Today we're going to go over a couple of things. Well, before I do that though, we just gotta do something real quick. We just gotta go do something. Yeah, that's good. So it's been a long weekend. Pretty long weekend. I tapped this thing and then I trained it all weekend, so you guys kind of didn't see any of that. But we're here now. We're going to talk about horse training in general. So the Pegasus is a little different than the Doom. It learns 20. Let me check it in and I'll compare them. It learns 27 skills or 24 skills, and let me go to stable. I don't. Okay, so Doom learns 25 skills. Pegasus learns 24 skills. Reason being is the Pegasus cannot learn to cedar, and the Doom can. And of course, their courser skills are a little different. We got Dark Sprint, and we got Dark Flame Step for the Doom, and then we have Wings of Wind and Wings of Freedom for the Pegasus. Now, the other horse that is, a lot of people write off the Unicorn, but I do have the Unicorn, and I do use it, and mine's not very good. It only learned 19 of 24. I need to probably re-roll it. I'd have to go over there to look at the stats on it to be able to show you what skills it didn't learn. But it doesn't have the stupid skills. I made sure it got Drift, Sprint, Instant Excel, and S Instant Excel. And then, of course, all the courser skills. I did not train the Unicorn the same way that I trained the Doom and the Pegasus, which is what I want to talk about. And since I only use my Unicorn for transporting stuff across the desert or for sprinting myself across the desert, I have the 3 mounts for that. I have the Unicorn. Of course, I have the little elephant that learns 6 of 8 skills. And then somewhere floating around here, I think it's Alta Nova. Yeah, I also have a camel that I use. Reason it's in Alta Nova is because I had it in Heidel and I was training. I ran out of space, so I need to clean up my mount thing a little bit. I do have another tier 8 courser that I can start tapping away at. This is a horse that I caught for a quest, and it was tier 6, so I figured I might train it and turn it into Imperial Delivery just to get some of the seals. So I dumped it in Stonetail for now. When I go to train it and get back into horse training a lot, I'll teleport it back over or transport it, and then I will train it and Imperial deliver it, because it has to be at least level 15 to do Imperial trade-ins on the horses. But anyway, I have the tier 8 courser male. This will be the next one that I start tapping for a tier 9. The mission is, now that I have all 3 tier 9 dream horses, I'm going to be getting, or working towards, whenever I get the materials. I'm not going to buy them or anything like that, but as I organically just collect them, I will be tapping male horses, because you have to have a male and a female to do tier 10 attempts. But that's a long ways down the road. Like I said, I already have 1 male courser. I need to make another one. I think I've got some more tier 8s floating around here. Yeah, here's another tier 8 that I haven't leveled up. Level 3. With 2 of 20 at level 3. So I need to train it and then the rest of these tier 7s and tier 8s, I need to train and breed them. So that is a thing. So what I want to talk about really today, now that that kind of background stuff is over, is I want to talk about horse training in general, and how to train a dream horse, or just any horse in general you're trying to look at skills for. Up to level 30, they can learn skills. Past 30, they don't gain any stats or skills. And you can see here's my dream horses, my Pegasus, flat stats without horse armor, 159.8. 159.1 on speed and excel, and then turn and break are in the 140s. How it compares to the Doom, speed and excel are way better than the Doom horse, but turn and break are way worse. And of course my Doom horse has been the majority of the one that I've been taking everywhere, so it's got a couple of deaths on it, but that is fine. I am slowly leveling up the Pegasus to make it my main horse flying around. They're not as fast. The Pegasuses are not nearly as fast as the Doom horse if you are actively riding it. So if you're there, but auto routing, the Pegasus is faster because of the higher speed and acceleration. So I got this thing, I tapped it, level 1. I needed to level it up. It starts with the 3 courser moves, which was, I believe, Wings of Wind, Double Jump, and Courser Spirit. It had 3 of them. It learned Wings of Freedom later on, but for the purpose of training it, the way you do it, and you do this with any horse, this one is a little different. For tier 1 through tier 8, you use the 4-chop method, and then for the tier 9 dreams, you use the Courser Spirit method. And this requires pay to win. I had 15 mount skill change tokens saved up from just events and crap, so I had 15 of them. And you can see I still got 7 left. What you do is you level your horse to 15. I just happen to have 15 tokens, so it worked best for that. But you level it up to about 15. That gives it plenty of chance to naturally learn skills. As you level it to 15, it will learn skills, hopefully as many as it can. Mine learned a handful. I think at 15 it had like 12 skills or something before I started doing the resets. So at that point, at 15, you want to start using your mount skill change coupons. You check them in, and you change his skills around. What you do, check them in, hit manage skill, go into unlearned, you select a skill, and then you select your desired skill. The one that you want to change and get rid of every time is Courser Spirit. It has a higher chance of being learned than any other skill that these dream horses can learn, and this works for any of them, Pegasus, Doom, or Dene, or Unicorn, whatever you want to call them. So choose it, and then you choose a desired skill from here. I always choose the one that has the least amount of percent, so my skill point changes will go up, because at this point I wanted all the skills. It didn't really matter. And then at the end of the day, I was just going to, if it came down to not learning any of them or all of them, I was going to make sure that it didn't get caution. Caution is a terrible skill. Don't like it. It's annoying. But you do that. You trade in Courser's Spirit, and you get out another skill. And then you go right back to horse training. This method is pretty crappy. Here's my auto route that I use for horses from here to here. And I just let it go, and I set it as a loop and save it into one of the loop slots. And then I just let it run. This makes sure it's pretty well a straight line. I used to run all the way up there, but that makes it load more terrain, so it kind of is laggy a little bit. when there's a lot of people in Heidel. Doing it this way, it's still a straight shot, and this stays in the safe zone. And you can look in the mini map at the top left; it's still blue, and it's within the Heidel boundaries, so you cannot get attacked. But it's a long enough path that you get quite a bit of training. And right now, with the events going on, it's very good for training, which I'll go over my close here in a second. But you're getting plus 50 mount XP, plus you're getting plus 70% training XP, so it helps your training mastery and levels out, which I'm Master 3. At Master 3, I have a 26.1% chance more to learn a new skill when it levels up, so that really helped with the mount training. And then you can see the other stats there with me hovering over it for my training mastery. If I hit learn more, it's got a couple of other things. For horse capture, I get 12% more mount XP from that. And then, yeah. So, moving forward on that, what I use to train the horse, I have my life skill mastery gear, Trimanos accessories with the Floramos belt, which is the equivalent of a Trimanos belt. And then I have I don't use fine horse trainer's clothes. I don't use it. You can compare them to what I do use. Let's see if I can find it. Fisher's embroidered. You can use Manos horse trainer's clothes, but all they do is give you movement speed and mastery. You would have to have very high training mastery to compare to the clothes that I use, because your mastery does make your mount go up in XP, but you'd have to have very high. Let's see. I don't think there's a silver embroider. There is. You get mount XP plus 5. Even at plus 5, though, it will give you more mount XP, but it doesn't give you more training XP, right? And good luck getting plus 5. They're terrible to get. So most people are going to have plus 3 or plus 4, which is only 20-25%. I don't use those, and I don't use the fine horse trainer's clothes either. Because you don't get quite as, I guess it's alright, whichever one you want to use, but I use a combination of the normal trainer's clothes. And the reason I do that, if I hover over them, is you can turn these trainer's clothes, you can use a tailoring coupon on them and turn it into a costume, so you can double up. Now you can double up with that and plus 5 horse trainer's clothes. It really depends on what you're doing. But the reason I use these is because it has a combination. You get mount XP 15% and training XP 10%. And if you're doing horse capture rate, if you're capturing horses, you get plus 15 on it as well. And you get mount skill XP if you're trying to train skills. So the last two don't really pertain to me. I guess I could switch out my trainer's clothes for a plus 4, plus 5 silver embroidered or fine horse trainer's clothes, either one. I don't really understand the difference on those, to be honest. Or I could trade them out for Manos, because at Tet you're getting 300 plus mastery and you're getting training XP, but that doesn't help your mount XP. The only reason this would help you out on mount XP is if your mastery was high enough to add on. So I would need high enough mastery to add another 15% mount XP on top of the 12% I already get for it to be worth for me to switch over. Now, if you're really trying to go hard into it, either look in the silver embroidered or the fine ones. I guess the fine ones give a little bit more, but it's weird because it caps out. You get movement speed 4 and mount XP 40 with plus 5 silver embroidered trainer's clothes, and it's the same with the fine horse trainer's clothes. So it doesn't really make much sense to use one over the other when you have them at plus 5. Now, going a little bit lower, you're going to have a little bit more with the fine horse trainer's clothes. But good luck getting them. because they're all on pre-order, and there's quite a few pre-orders, and they don't sell very often. This one sold, it sold yesterday or a couple days ago, for $5 billion though. That's crazy high, and it's $21 billion for a +5. And the last time they sold was like never. You can craft these things, but that's through the. Pretty sure right here, the costume. This one, costume mill. So you get silver embroidered here, and then there should be a fine horse trader clothes somewhere in here. I don't know exactly where it's at. But if you want those, you have to look them up. You can craft them. I was crafting the silver ones for a while. But for all intents and purposes, if you're a cheap skate like I am, as far as the horse training goes, you can double up on these and do almost as good, right? You're losing a little bit of mount XP and a little bit of training XP, but that's fine. It's kind of like a middle ground, because you're doubling up on training XP and mount XP. You're trading mount XP for your actual life skill training XP, and as your life skill gets higher, you're gonna get more mount XP anyway through mastery. So I'll probably keep these until I hit guru training. If I start going back into being hardcore training again, I will keep these until my training does get to guru, because it gives me that. And then I'll either switch to Manos, or I'll switch to the I'll just invest in the silver embroidered or the fine horse training, whichever one I can get my hands on at a high upgrade level. But the Manos kicks in when you're doing the Imperial delivery, right? You're getting more out of it. So if you go back here and you hover over it, you get 20% more silver when you're doing horse breeding. That's affected by mastery. At master with 800 and something, 865 training mastery I get 20% silver back, since I have a value pack for the horse market. So the Manos really kicks in there. That's where that's useful. But in terms of horse leveling, I think you're going to be better off if you're going for skills, maybe mastery. But if you're just going for pure horse levels and you're just dumping the horses anyway, I think you're probably going to be better off with doing my method with the doubling up on the regular trainer's clothes, if you're cheap, or silver embroidered / fine horse trainer's clothes. But you can either way still have this as a costume with the coupon. So the last thing I need to touch on is after your horse is leveled up to the next level. So at 15, you use your mount coupon to trade in Courser's Spirit for another skill. Level it up to 16. Hopefully it learns Courser's Spirit, or hopefully get lucky and it learns a second skill, or a different skill. If it doesn't learn Courser's Spirit and it learns another skill, you don't have to use a mount coupon, because it learned a different skill. But if it does learn Courser's Spirit, you go back to the trainer, use another coupon, and trade Courser's Spirit for a different skill. And you do this all the way up until it learns all the skills, because Courser's Spirit is easier for the mount to learn. I don't know why they made it have a higher chance, but they did. And if you're doing tier 1 through tier 8, it's the same for 4-chop. 4-chop seems to be the skill that is easier for the tier 1s to tier 8s to learn. So you do this same method for them. But that's how I trained. It capped out at like level 23, 24. It had learned all skills except for the last skill, and I traded Courser's Spirit for it, so then it just needed to level up the rest of the way to 30 and learn Courser's Spirit within those 5 levels, which it did. So I have all 24 levels. Now, the last thing I used on it was mount all skill training coupon, so I didn't have to manual roll. I have so many of these from events. You can see I still got like 4 here, and then I got a bunch in the Black Spirit safe floating around too somewhere. Yeah, see, there's one there. I just got a bunch of them, so I just use them on the dream horses. So everything's at 100%, and I don't have to worry about it. But now my mission is to get the Pegasus up to at least level 60 where the Doom horse is, because past 30 you don't gain stats or skills, but every level you gain past 30 is important. And the reason they did this, if you get your horse to about 75 or 80, most monsters in the game will not attack it. And the horse can go all the way up to 100, so that's where it's at there. You probably don't need super amounts of, if you're careful on levels, but I like to level mine up so I can just dump my horse wherever and not worry about stuff attacking it. The last two things I need to touch on is Manos Riding Crop makes a huge difference because you get training mastery, your mount speed gains 20%, and your auto run speed is 50% faster. So it makes you train a huge amounts faster. So that's very important. You don't have to upgrade the Manos Riding Crop for the speeds. I did mine to +7 because it's guaranteed. After 7, you have to basically use fail stacks. And then the last thing I will touch on that is not equipment related is what I use when I'm training for buffs. Let me close this so I can get into my family inventory. I use Willer's Warm Black Tea. You get Mount XP plus 30 and Life XP plus Mount XP plus 50 and Life XP plus 30. Huge. I don't use the mastery buffs here unless I'm just trying to get Life XP. Then I also use this Courser's Aura that gives Mount plus 30, and your training mastery goes up, so you get a little bit more, and plus you get some training XP out of it. So those are two things that I use, and then I couple it with these Mount XP scrolls that give you plus 20%. I've been using the 10-hour ones just because I can. I got a ton of these 1-hour ones as well. Then there were two other things that I used for scrolls. Let me see if I've got a couple floating around here. Here we go. Stone Tail Winds Meal gives you 10% Mount XP for 10 hours. Gives you some life mastery and training XP as well, so it makes your training go up. And then the last thing I use for buffs is a Fiery Celerity Draft, or Draught, whichever you prefer to say. You get more Mount XP plus 30 and training XP plus 30. Now, last night I didn't set it up this way because I wasn't sure if my thing was going to disconnect or not. So now that I've got it to where it's not slamming into stuff, I think tonight I'll probably run it and run all these buffs. So a couple of those buffs with the training issues close and the mastery and the other stuff with that and the riding crop, I'm getting a ton of Mount XP and Life XP. So my training was like Master 2, and I've went up like 15-20% since I started it. So it's great. And then coupled with the event XP boosts that are going on, it's just awesome for leveling. But that's what I've done with the mount, and that's how I do my horse training. So that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Hope you found it helpful. I know I kind of rambled quite a bit, but horse training is one of those things that kind of gets glossed over. There's probably other guides out there, but I figured I'd make my own version. And so there you have it. Hope you have a good rest of your day. And as always, until next time.